Well, that song, that anthem for France is fabulous, isn't it? Oh my gosh. Getting ready for this premiere, I had to have played that thing at least 20 times because it's the sound of majesty, isn't it? It's just a beautiful, beautiful anthem. And if you're brand new to this and you don't follow me on Facebook or anything like that, then you have no idea who is this woman on the screen right now. Who is she? What is this all about? And why is the gang all surrounded around looking at this individual along with the really cool little miniature Eiffel Tower, of course? And so what's the story on all of this? What is going on? Well, Olga is from the Paris, France area. I'm trying to adjust the screen a little bit so we can see her clearly. She's from Paris, France, and just recently accepted my invite to become a moderator on the Facebook business page for Cow Country. And we're going to have the privilege of chatting with her today. But first of all, I have to move all of my friends out of the way so that they're safe. I'll move them over on the other work bench where you saw that opening little placard of Paris, France, which I picked up specifically for this interview today, so I could have it as kind of a little intro thing. And then we're going to give Olga a call in Paris, France. And see if we can chat with her for a little bit, find out a little bit more about her, find out about what she's anticipating as far as this role. And there might be some other little twists and turns in this as well that'll be, I think, rather interesting, where we'll have a chance to put to the test my mantra about sometimes a teacher, always a student, right? You've heard me say that a bazillion times, right? Yeah, you have. So let me come on this shot a little bit to include Dr. Singer and Olga on the screen as well, and we will give Olga a call. Hang on just a second. I'm going to move Dr. Singer just a tiny little bit. Okay, I've been charging my phone to make sure I had enough power in it, and we're going to give Olga a call now, so hold on just a second. We did a test call already, and it rang through beautifully, so hopefully, oops, let's try this again. Oh, live premieres, don't you love it? Sending her a quick message. Trying to call you now, Olga. Trying to call you now. Gumdrops. Don't you love it when stuff like this happens? It's such a hoot! Hold on a second. Olga is on another call. She's still on another call. Olga, hang up. Please hang up, comma, I'm trying to call you. There it is. There you are. For some reason I was getting a busy signal, like you were on another call, so I was joking with folks. I said, Olga's on the line. We got to get her to hang up. So I started sending you Facebook Messenger things. Hang up, hang up, hang up.
I didn't see them.
Yeah, that's okay. Well, I'm glad that we could do this. And you can't see it, but behind you, when I was in Paris, France, many, 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 many years ago, I visited the Eiffel Tower area, and of course, there's vendors there, and they're trying to sell tourists like me all kinds of things. So I had to pick up a little mini Eiffel Tower, and the little mini Eiffel Tower, it's right by your picture, right behind where you are on the screen right now. So, but I know everyone is very excited to get to know you a little bit better, to find out, okay, what does Olga do in Paris? What is, what is her background? And I've already told them some stuff about you. I've told you about, I've told them about, the fact that you've been a driving instructor for like 25 years, which means you probably started when you were 10 years old, because you're only about 30 some years old is what I tell everybody. So, and your beautiful cat, Pistachio, who I know now is a girl, not a boy. Duh. Wow. And about your motorcycle and all that kind of fun stuff. But why don't we start with this? You shared with me that evening that we chatted. We chatted for several hours, and I really had a great opportunity to get to know you and to appreciate what you could bring to our leadership team. And so, why don't we start with what has gotten you involved with vintage sewing machines, and talk a little bit about the 12 machines that you collected in the period of a year, which again, I don't think that's a big deal. I mean, I've collected 12 machines in a couple of days. So yeah, you don't have to think that that's odd or unusual. It's pretty common in our circles that if we find the right place and the right machines, we'll pick up 2 or 3 machines, just like, boop, done. So, but anyway, talk a little bit about your vintage machines, if you would.
Oh, so I started to collect machines just because
And again, Olga,
wanted one.
if you would lean into the camera a little bit. I'm having a little bit of trouble hearing you.
Oh, okay. So I bought a new machine, an electronic machine with all the options on the internet. And when I came home, it didn't work. I was very frustrated, so I wanted to repair it and started to open it, look what was inside, and the next week I was in a yard sale with a friend and saw these beautiful machines and bought one. The next week bought another, and it was I put my finger in the mechanism and was eaten alive.
Sure.
And I started to collect because I discovered the decals. There are magnificent decals on singers, on New Hope machines, Riesner, and I was looking for mechanisms to know what were the way to make the inside of a machine, old ones, much more than the new ones. The new ones, the first one, I didn't repair it yet, but I don't despair. And I started to open the old ones, see these magnificent insides that crossed the centuries, and started to buy 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and more.
Yeah, yeah.
That's it. So
Y-
it was the decals, and it was the mechanisms. I don't know if you can call it like that in America?
Yeah, yeah.
Mechanisms?
The mechanisms or the engineering of the machine. When you looked inside of the
Yes, yes.
machine, the engineering, the design, the quality, the metal, as opposed to most of the machines, like the first one you described that you got, that was probably plastic gears inside and other things like that that would be designed to fail. They would be designed to fail. Um,
It was designed for Aldi, so it wasn't a great machine
yeah,
for starters,
sure.
but it was for me it was a way to start without paying too much. It ends. It was too much because it didn't work.
Well, and some of those plastic machines, it's amazing. They can be hundreds of American dollars,
Or
but
euros too.
or euros too. And when you put the machine to the test, even if it works right away, I've had countless people say they've gone through 2 or 3 machines in the period once they discovered vintage sewing machines. They've gone through 2, 3, maybe even 4 machines where they burn out, they break, and then they get one vintage machine and they use it and they use it and they use it and they use it and they use it. No failure, no problem, no breaking, and
Just oily.
yeah, it's night and day. It's so different when you get those machines, and then all of a sudden you discover what quality really looks like. So you described the Singer machines. Are all 12 of them Singers, or do you have new? You said New Home too. New Home.
I have a new home. I offered to my dad a magnificent sewing machine. I I also pictured to Paula, your new moderator. That's a new home QB. I never seen it ever anywhere else. Um, I will send you the picture of it.
Yeah, that'd be wonderful.
And I have Singer. I have the Singer Lotus that I was looking for everywhere, and finally, my mom had one in my room. I never saw never saw it until I just asked, "Where can I find it?" And she said, "That's in your room."
And,
Why?
and that's a Lotus machine, you said?
Yes, it was a Singer Lotus. It has the decals with flowers like lotus.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're talking about the decal pattern is a Lotus style then.
Yeah,
Oh, I
yeah.
understand. Okay.
It's a Singer 66.
Yeah, Class 66. Sure. Yeah, Class 66 was really they started out by making the Singer 99 and 99K, which were 3/4 size machines, and everyone loved them. The 99s and 99Ks, and then they came out with the Spartan, which is the 192K, all different model numbers for these 3 machines. But people said, we like them a lot. They're very nice. They're very powerful, especially the Spartan, because the Spartan had a motor that was 2 times the size of the Featherweight 221. It had a point 0.8 amp motor, which is quite big for a little machine like that. But they said we don't have enough workspace. We don't have in that one video recently. Or actually when we interviewed Paula, your colleague, your fellow moderator, when I interviewed her, one of the questions that Dr. Singer had was about harp space on the machines. That inside little core space on the machine where you can turn material and it's got to be spacious enough to get the job done. Well, people loved the 99, 99K and the 192K, but the harp space was too small. And so Singer said, okay, all right, you love the 99, you love the 99K, you love the Spartan, but you need more space. So guess what? We're going to make the Class 66 machine. And the Class 66 was basically an enlarged version of those other machines that I just named. And one of the most popular models that Singer ever made. And then they had different sub categories of that as well, like we talked about during Paula's interview and all that kind of stuff. The 66-1, dash 2, dash 4, hand crank, treadle, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, that's a fabulous machine to have. And it sounds like you've got one of the coolest decal patterns that Singer came out with on that model. The Lotus is just beautiful greens and other colors. It just pizzazz. It's just fabulous. It's just fabulous. What's that again?
I, at first, I thought that it was Mexican decals.
Okay, yeah. I could see that because those colors are classic in the Latino and Mexican culture. The rich greens and the other ones are just fabulous. Another decal pattern that I like a lot that's close to it but not the same, they call it the gingerbread pattern. And the gingerbread pattern has some of those same rich, deep colors that you just look at it and you're like, I can't even touch this thing. It's too beautiful to touch. But then you sit down to it and you start exploring it and experiencing it. It's like, oh, okay, I can use it and I can admire it at the same time because it's just that spectacular. It's just that spectacular. But so what are some of the other machines that come to mind that you have in your collection right now out of those 12 machines?
I have one that I call the Pearl because she has it looks like a Singer 12, but has incrustations of mother of pearl in it.
Oh,
Very,
wow.
very nice. Yeah, it's very fine, very refined, very very nice. It's a hand crank, very old. I think it was 1980. No, 1866.
Oh, 1886 or 1868?
18 no 186 76
1876 then. Okay, in that realm.
76.
So it also, that's okay. It also is going to have a fiddle base. In other words, it's not going to have a rectangular base. It's going to have these beautiful curves that kind of cut the metal in on the base of the machine, similar to the one that I looked at the History Museum. They had one similar to that. It was like a 12K design with the fiddle base and most of the machines it's just a standard rectangular base at the base of the machine, but yours in that period would have a beautiful fiddle style base. It's just the shape of it is so cool. It's so super cool. Yeah. So
Yes, I have two fiddle bass, and the pearl is not fiddle bass. So could it be oldest?
or it could be a little bit newer, maybe. It could be a little bit newer. If you eventually through the Cow Country messenger, Cow Country Messenger, because I think right now mostly you and I are communicating through my personal Facebook profile, but you have access now as a moderator to the Cow Country messenger thing. If you send the pictures there, all of us, Bill and Sonny and Paula and myself, all of us can look at them and admire them, and then gather more information on the models that you have. That would be a lot of fun. That would be a lot of fun.
Yes.
We can all come together. We can come together as a team and research it. So that'll be fun.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I can send you the pictures of all the 12.
Yeah. Beautiful. Beautiful. Well, talk.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. I cut you off.
Oh, sorry. Some of them I know are actual, are modern, but in the 12. But I have some beautiful ones to show.
Yeah. Yeah. All the vintage ones. Take pictures of those and send them over. And we've gotten information for newer model machines for people as well. Those questions will sometimes come through where someone has a combination of vintage and modern machines, and they'll have questions about the modern machines. and we can and you will eventually will be, as a moderator, you'll be helping with some of those questions as you feel comfortable to do it. Maybe they'll send you a picture of a newer Elna machine that way back in the day was made in Switzerland, but no more. And they'll say, "Well, tell me about this machine. What can you help me find?" Sometimes we get questions, "Can you help me find a manual for it?" But there's all kinds of questions like that as a moderator that you'll have an opportunity to try to help people with, which is a lot of fun because it's kind of like it's like a mystery process of uncovering the answers, and then you can share those answers. And like you and I talked about early on, you don't have to do it on your own. Just yesterday, there was a couple of questions that came in, and Bill and Paula were working on them together, collaboratively. And I also jumped in a little bit and helped as well. So three of us were working on one question because it was a little bit of a tricky question about a Davis sewing machine. And
I saw your question.
you saw it. Yeah, of
I
course
saw
you
the question.
did. Of course.
And I was looking for. I find one. I found one in France.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that. Well, yeah, you know what? I'm so silly. I'm so silly because it's like I'm describing to you the questions that pop up behind the scenes that all the people watching this premiere right now, they can't see those. They don't have access. You have access. Hello, Scott. Hello. Bum, 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 bum. Yeah, so wonderful. I didn't know that you were working on that behind the scenes as well. That's super cool.
I try.
Yeah, but you know what? That's the way it starts. We start out as students, and then we slowly gather more and more knowledge, more information, very much like your students that take instruction from you when you are acting as a driving instructor in France. That's a perfect transition. Why don't we move away from your super cool 12 sewing machines that you collected in 1 year, which again, some people you shared that with in France, they were like, "Oh my gosh, that's so crazy. That's so weird. That's so unusual." To us, it's normal. As a matter of fact, it's like, "Oh, that's no big deal." But for 25 years now, 25 years you've been working as a driving instructor, driving the streets of Paris, driving the outsides of the city as well, all over the place. And you have these brand new students that know nothing or very little, nothing about driving, and you have to help them figure things out on those very busy streets. Talk about your what you've been doing in that role, and maybe some interesting stories if you have any that you can share about working as a driving instructor.
Oh, for me, it's not uh, very dangerous. Oh, gee.
And if you
Sorry.
want to, I apologize,
The
Olga.
French came to my.
Yeah, if you want to raise your voice just a little bit, you're very soft. You have such a wonderful soft voice, but I don't want people to have to strain and say, "What did she say? What did she say?" So yeah, if you want to talk louder,
Sorry.
it's totally cool.
Sorry, it's the way I speak to my students
Yeah, that's
very
okay.
slowly. So it's not normal to me to have to speak very loud.
That's okay.
Uh, I started in the world of teaching just being a student because I started driving, and it was a very nice way for me to learn in Paris. So for the starters in Paris to learn how to drive. After that, I learned motorcycle as well, and 12 days after that, they asked me in that school to be the secretary because they wanted me to be part of the team. So I accepted, and 2 years later, I was a teacher because secretary was no more my interest, and I wanted to teach how to drive to the others. I always remember one thing when I'm in my car. I have been a student and always be. You can teach everything, but you have to know what the student is feeling to know how to teach. there are very good teachers that don't adapt to the student because he has many difficulties. I was one of these students, a very bad student when I was learning to drive. I was a danger. But now I am the teacher, and my principal quality in this is to wanting to help the ones that have the more difficulties to drive. That's my way.
So you had shared this. Excuse me, I have my glasses in my mouth. You had shared with me that you consider yourself to have not been a real good student when you were learning in the different class settings and that, but you become a fabulous teacher. Was it difficult to step into a teaching role, or did you feel like the time was right and you were just excited to experience that different process of exchanging information in that?
I was very excited, and I had something to prove to my fellow teachers because from teachers they became persons I work with. So I had to prove them that I was acceptable to teach. And at first they didn't thought I could teach, but I showed them, and some of them are not teachers anymore, but I'm still here. So when I start teaching, watch it.
That's awesome. Well, and you said when we were talking that one evening and we chatted again, the time passed so quickly when I was talking with Olga. It was just crazy. We all of a sudden both realized almost at the same time, holy cow, we've been talking over 2 hours, and it just passed so quickly. But she impressed me as someone that is the perfect student teacher and teacher student because she doesn't think she has all the answers. She knows that. But she says, I'm a very quick learner. And she says, once I get into something and I get comfortable with it and I build my base of knowledge, look out. And I remember you saying that a couple of times, look out, there's no stopping me then. And so I'm really excited to have you on the team because, there are people that can be very effective teachers. They can get the job done, they can exchange information, but kind of like the teacher that Paula talked about, that was a bad example of a teacher because they weren't a student at all. They didn't think, no one can teach me anything. I have all the answers, was the attitude of that teacher that Paula met in ninth grade, I think she said. Ninth grade or somewhere. Yeah, around ninth grade. And I love having people on the leadership team that say, I'm bringing certain specialties, I'm bringing certain knowledge and gifts and other things like that I can share, but I don't have all the answers. That's the best type of leader to have because they're willing to learn, they're willing to share, they're willing to collaborate with other leaders. And that's what makes a great leadership team. That's what gives us a great leadership team. But
Yeah.
before we step away from your driving experience, where some of your colleagues, they were doubtful. They questioned, oh, can she really be a driving instructor? And you proved that you could do it very successfully. And like you said, some of them, they're gone now, and you're still doing it, and you're still doing it very successfully. What can you share, like one interesting story about a challenging student or an experience that you had while you were in the car with a student that will really highlight just how unique it is to be a driving instructor in Paris, France?
Not so much only in Paris, but it's very recent because it's going to highlight the psychology thing we have to have when you are a teacher. And in a car, I had a student that all the family was that died in a car crash.
Oh my gosh.
And he was the only survivor. It took him very much effort to learn how to drive, how to be able to drive and to let himself drive and be alive in a car. And this student had his license 3 days ago.
No kidding.
Overwhelmed.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. And he was the cutest person to start to drive and to drive his life, because it wasn't just for him to drive a car. It was for him to start living as well.
Yeah.
So for me it was fabulous.
So he's in a car crash. All of his family tragically dies in that car crash. And then he eventually ends up in front of you as an instructor, and you have to very patiently and very gently and very kindly help him to overcome all of that, all those fears, all of that stuff that he was carrying. And 3 days ago he got his license. What a huge accomplishment.
It was not only the accomplishment. I think the stars were aligned to do this together, because he didn't speak very well French. He speaks Portuguese, and I speak as well. So I could help him with Portuguese, also with French. And so help him. That's it.
That's amazing. That's amazing. That's going to be one of the things someday when you decide to retire from what you're doing and collect a lot more sewing machines. That's
I have to collect a lot more space.
yeah, but that's going to be one of those memories of your work as a driving instructor that you're never ever going to forget, that the impact that you had on his life, and that you brought all of your experience, all of your passion to that one student. And maybe another instructor, maybe one of those instructors that no longer is there, that doubted your ability to do the job as well as you've proven that you do it. One of those instructors would not have had success with that student, because they would have been maybe impatient, they would have been abrupt, they would have been, whatever it was. They wouldn't have had the ability the way you did with, the French, the Portuguese, and the patience to help that student to succeed, and not just to pass the test, like you said, but to move on with their life after that incredible tragedy with their family being lost. That's
I always look at the individual before to look at the student, because it teaches me all I need to help them better. I was a very bad student when I was driving, and it is certainly the reason why today I could be a better teacher.
yeah.
Because I know what are the difficulties for some persons to be just in a car, to allow themselves to drive, because your family, because your past, because the way you were raised are some of the ways that can be in your way to learn to drive and be free, and be the one to take charge in a car or in your life. So that's some of the ways I have to make my students successful, is to take them in global and not just as students to learn how to drive and mechanics.
Yeah, you look at the whole person, not just their skills to be able to maneuver a car successfully, but who are they? What is their history? Maybe about insights into their family, and all those other things play into your success in helping them to not only pass the test, but to enjoy the learning experience and to go on and be hopefully safe drivers and successful drivers, and success in life, and happiness.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Well, I'm glad that he passed his test, and I'm glad you were there, because your unique approach, your firmness in teaching, but your softness in looking at the person, is what led to his success, and helped him to move on with his life. That's amazing. Amazing. Well, you weren't, as you said, you were not the best student, but you are a fabulous teacher in your space of instructing driving in France. We have another person in the workshop, another person that you already know, I think, and he's used to only being a teacher. He thinks he always has all the answers. He tries to correct me sometimes, and I've been doing this a lot longer than he has, really. And but he has an opportunity today, and the people watching right now don't know this, that you and I have secretly collaborated. Instead of Dr. Singer trying to give you a test today, like he did to Paula at that premiere when she was introduced as a new moderator, we have a chance today to turn the tables on Dr. Singer. And you can't see him, he's off camera right now, but he's looking very nervous. He's looking very, very, very nervous. Today he is going to become a student, and you have a chance to give him a test. And a lot of the test centers on the culture of France and sewing there, and some of the history there, some of the important history surrounding sewing as it relates to that great country. So I'm going to change the shot, and I'm going to see if we can begin this exam. And because Olga is going to be going, she's going to be going between the questions that she has, and I'm going to lower the camera a little bit more so you're going to see things kind of shift, because your voice is soft and I want people to be able to hear you. Okay, so let me lock that in place. So as Olga is asking these questions of her student, Dr. Singer, she may periodically black out her screen so she can look at the question, and then she'll pop back on the screen again after she's asked the question. But I'm going to broaden the shot anyway, so we can see Dr. Singer as well. I've actually got to come back a little bit more. And I might actually pick up my phone so that we can hear you even better. All right. Well, Dr. Singer, don't get too nervous. Don't get too nervous. Olga will be kind, but at the same time, it's your time to be a student, no longer to be a teacher. So let's do this. Yeah, I probably will pick the phone up. That way they can hear the questions more easily. So, okay. Almost ready, almost ready. So I'm going to pick up the phone, and I'll move you closer so that they can hear your soft voice more easily. All right. Well, Olga, acting now as a teacher, what is your first question that you'd like to ask Dr. Singer?
Okay, so Dr. Singer, in what year did the US Singer company establish a new manufacturing plant in Bonnières, France? Operates as La Compagnie Singer, Société Anonyme.
Oh my gosh, come on. All of you watching right now, are you absolutely loving the way she says that? Ask the question one more time, Olga, and say it a little bit louder if you would. A little bit louder.
In what? Okay. Oh, my question disappeared. Oh, come on. Okay. In what year did the US Singer company establish a new manufacturing plant in Bonnières, France? Operates as La Compagnie Singer, Société Anonyme.
Okay, so I'm gonna set you on the computer over here just for a moment. We'll move Olga right over there. And again, I don't know about all of you. Maybe you're not as impressed with it, but the way she says those words in French, oh my Lord, they're so cool. So I'm going to zoom in on Dr. Singer. All right, so Dr. Singer, and I know that because of our special relationship, that others cannot hear you the way I hear you. But what are your thoughts on that first question that Olga asked? And I'm not going to even try to restate it. She restated it so beautifully. What year do you think that was, Dr. Singer? Yeah, obviously 1900s. But what year in the 1900s do you think it was? Okay, you're going to guess 1935. 1935. Okay, hold on a second. Let me bring Olga back up to the camera, and I'm going to block you out, Dr. Singer. So Dr. Singer, on your first question, Olga, is guessing 1935. How did he do?
That's right.
He got it right?
Yes, it did.
Ha ha! Way to go, Dr. Singer. Fabulous. Fabulous. Okay, what is your second question for Dr. Singer?
Okay, so did this factory made only sewing machines?
Okay, so I'm going to set Olga down again, right over here. Actually, I'll put you right over in front of Dr. Singer. That'll be easier to go up and down. So Olga's next question, Dr. Singer, I'm going to kind of broaden this shot a little bit. Olga's next question for you is, did the factory in France that she described, did it only make sewing machines? Was that its specialty? Kind of like the factory that I visited down in South Bend, Indiana, all they made there were cabinets. So there were certain Singer factories where they would specialize in making single items that relate to the sewing machine. Is that true of this factory in France that Olga described? Take a few seconds to think about it, Dr. Singer. Oh, you know that one? Seriously? Okay. All right. Well, if you're confident that you know it, then tell me what your answer is, and I'll share it with our teacher, Olga, and with all of our friends. Okay, so you think that the factory did not only make sewing machines, they were vertically integrated, and they made also electric motors and wooden cases for the sewing machines. So they made 3 different items there. Let me bring Olga back up to the camera and see if that answer is correct or incorrect.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, so Dr. Singer got that one too. Holy macro,
That
two
one too.
for
It's
two.
very good.
Yeah, 2 for 2 so far. What is your next question, Olga, for Dr. Singer?
Okay, so how long did this base factory remain the key part of Singer's global manufacturing network?
Okay, so Olga's next question, Dr. Singer, and I'm going to restate it as best as I can because she has such a sweet, soft voice.
Oh, sorry.
No, that's okay. I wish you had been my driving instructor, because my driving instructor, when I was learning to drive as a 15-year-old in the United States, he was very gruff and very loud and very bah. So it would have been great to have a teacher. It would have been great to have a teacher like you. So Olga's next question, Dr. Singer, is this. She said, in relation to that sewing machine plant that also made electric motors and wooden cases, and they were an integral part of Singer's global manufacturing network, what year did they start operating there? Let me see. How long? Yeah, how long did they start operating there was her question. So what do you think, Dr. Singer? What year was that when they started operating that factory? As far as being a Singer Global Manufacturing Network key location. Okay, I know I didn't say that very clearly. Let me try saying it again. Okay, so how long was that factory operating, or when was it a central operating location for Singer is probably the better way for me to restate Olga's question. She said it a lot better than I did, but what year do you think, Dr. Singer? Okay, yeah, you're in the ballpark. Yeah, it was right around in the 1980s. You got to narrow it down though. When in the 1980s was that particular factory in France a key global location for Singer? It really became a main going place for those needs that Singer had. Okay, oh, interesting. Okay, so you're going to guess the same year that I graduated from college is the same year that they were a key global networking location for Singer, 1986. Okay, 1980. Well, all right, you can go with 1986. Hold on. Let's see what the teacher says.
That's right.
He got it right again? Holy
Okay.
mackerel. 3 for 3. 3 for 3 so far. So Dr. Singer is 100%.
Student.
He's an A student so far. A student. What's your next question for Dr. Singer?
Oh, when was the factory permanently closed?
Okay, okay. So Olga's next question is, we know that that particular factory was a global go-to place for Singer until around 1986. When did that factory actually close, Dr. Singer? Do you know the answer to that one? No, you can't call Bill. Bill's not going to take your call right now. Good luck with that. Bill was a little bit annoyed that you hammered Paula with all those questions last time, even though we know that you didn't expect her to have all those answers, and it was just to highlight how difficult sometimes, how challenging a moderator role can be. And thank goodness we don't have to do it alone. You still gave her a pretty tough exam, so this is your time now to be the student, Dr. Singer. You're on your own, buddy. You can't call Bill. You can't reach out to Paula. Paula wouldn't take your call anyway, probably. And you can't reach out to Olga either. She's the teacher today. So what do you think? You're going to go with the same year? All right, so you're saying that they reached the peak of their global use for Singer in 1986, and you believe that they closed that same year. All right, let me see what the teacher says. Hold on a second.
That's right.
Holy mackerel! Dr. Singer! Whoa! So Dr. Singer so far has been asked 1, 2, 3, 4 questions. These are pretty tough questions, all based in France and the French sewing machine industry, and he's got 100% so far. That's amazing. What is your next question for Dr. Singer, Olga?
So, machines produced in Bonnier factory have a suffix letter after the model numbers?
Okay, that's a tough one. Okay, so this next question that Olga just asked her student, Dr. Singer, is the machines produced at the factory have a specific suffix letter after the model number. What letter is that? And Dr. Singer, I'm gonna tag on a bonus opportunity for you, okay? Olga just wants to know what letter that is. I'm going to say, can you also give an example of 2 models that were made at that factory that would incorporate that letter? Yeah, if you can come up with that, I think it's up to Olga. Olga's the teacher. She might give you a bonus if you can give those models as well. So what do you think, Dr. Singer? What do you think? Okay, so you're going to say that, like a lot of the Singer factories, the letter, suffix letter that usually accompanies the model number and or the serial number, it's usually on the serial number plate as well, that because the name of that location starts with a B, and Olga can say the name so beautifully, I'm not even going to try to pronounce it. But because it starts with a B, you're going to say that the suffix letter that accompanies the model number is going to be a B, and the 2 examples you would give, Dr. Singer, is a 15B and a 191B. So let me see what the teacher says. Hold on a second. Hold on. Did she give a thumbs up? He got it right?
Yes, one more time.
Oh my gosh. Dr. Singer, you're slamming it, man. You might get 100% on this exam. You might get an A on it. That would be amazing. But let's go to the next question first. What is the next question, Olga?
So the next question is, did they use serial numbers that look the form SA or SB, etc., followed by 00001 up to 9999999?
Okay. Oh boy. Oh boy. I don't even know if I know the answer to that one. Well, Dr. Singer, that's a tough question. Oh, really? Okay, you're batting 100% so far. You're getting a little bit cocky, and you're saying, no, no, Olga, just to clarify, that question you just asked, that's a true or false question, right? So you made the statement, does Dr. Singer think what you said is true, or does he think it's false?
Yes, is it
Okay,
true or false?
true or false? Okay, okay. What do you think, Dr. Singer? You think that Olga read that statement and it's true, or do you think that that statement, in relation to the serial number sequence, etc., do you think that she read a statement that is false? Boy, you said that with a lot of authority. He said, almost like he was angry, he said, it's false. So let's see what the teacher says. Let's see what the teacher says about that.
Sorry, but it was true.
Ah, ha, ha, ha. See?
One, Dr. Singer.
One wrong. You got that one wrong, Dr. Singer. No, he's done really well so far. He's done really, really well. What is
And we are all learning.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So what is let's see here. What is the next question that you have for Dr. Singer? I'm going to bring you all the way back into the shot again, Olga.
So, who is by far the most famous in history of sewing machine in France?
Okay, okay. So Olga's asking a real tough history question now in relation to when people think about the French sewing machine culture, who do they think about right away as the person that, is tied into all of that happening, making it possible for that French sewing machine industry to thrive? Who do you think the name of that person is, Dr. Singer? Yeah, I've heard that name before. That might be a good guess. No, I'm not going to help you with the answer. Yes, Olga, because Olga trusts me. She gave me the answers. So I know what the answer is, but I'm not going to tell you. So you have to give your best guess, your educated guess, and then we'll ask the teacher, Olga, whether or not it's correct. So what are you going with, Dr. Singer? What do you think? Okay. So you're going to say that the answer that she's looking for is Joseph Marie Jacquard is the person that is the most famous name in the history of sewing machines in France. So let me grab my phone. I bring it up so that everyone can see the teacher, and then the teacher will tell us if Dr. Singer is correct or incorrect.
Sorry, Dr. Singer, this one is false too.
Oh.
The most famous person is Barthélemy Timonier.
Oh, you got to say that again.
Barthélemy Timonier.
Oh my gosh. I mean, come on, seriously, folks. Couldn't you listen to her all day long? Seriously. Well, at any rate, Dr. Singer, great guess. A great guess on that one, truly, because that was an incredibly tough question. But it is not Joseph Marie Jacquard. Joseph Marie Jacquard, and both Olga and I knew this, and we discovered this when we were looking through, possible questions, and she came up with these questions. Joseph Marie Jacquard was actually the one that made a mechanical loom, and it made textile manufacturing significantly more easy than it had been prior to that. So it's still a very important person in French history that contributed to, kind of that same space. But he was not the one that actually developed a working model of a sewing machine, and is most known, is most famous in France because of that accomplishment. So good guess, Dr. Singer, but you got that one wrong. What is the next question, Olga? Let me bring you back up here again.
So, what was the job at the time he developed this version of the sewing machine in France?
Okay, and what was you?
Of Barthélemy Timonier.
Say his name one more time.
Barthélemy Timonier.
Oh my God, I love that. Don't you love that? Amazing. Okay, so Dr. Singer, your question now is from your teacher, Olga. that man that has such a beautiful name, at least when Olga says it, if I said it, it would be horrible. But the man that is most famous in France in the history of sewing machines, what type of work was he doing when he made this incredible development and he created this sewing machine in France? And it wasn't just like some of those people we talked about when we talked with Paula, where they designed, say, drawings and they got patents on the drawings. This was actually a working machine that this gentleman in France developed. What was he doing? What was his job? What was his job? So what do you think, Dr. Singer? Yeah, I mean, it could be. It could be. I don't know if that's the correct answer or not. I don't know if Olga shared the answer on this one with me. I don't think she did. So I can't, even if I could, I wouldn't help you anyway, but I don't know that I know the answer to this one. So no, I don't think he was a painter. So I wouldn't say to your teacher that he was a painter. That wouldn't be a good guess. I don't think so. Okay, you're going to go with engineer? You think he was an engineer? Okay, all right, let me grab the phone and let me bring Olga back up, your teacher. What Dr. Singer
No, no,
thinks
no,
he's not an engineer.
no, he was not. He was a tailor.
He was a tailor. So he was already working in the industry as a tailor when he developed this sewing machine. And what is his name again?
Barthélemy Timonier.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool. That's so cool. What is your next question for your student, Dr. Singer?
So, what were the major flaws with Barthélemy Timonier's sewing machine design?
Okay. Okay. So now we're getting into the mechanics of the machine, Dr. Singer. This gentleman in France came up with a working model of this machine, but there were some flaws with it. There were some challenges with it. What do you think? Really? So Herr Obermeister and you were recently doing some reading in a French journal that was written in English because you don't speak French, you can't write French or read French, but you read in it that the major issues with his machine was that there was no feed mechanism, so that the person using his machine had to manually force the project through, and then the needle had an open barbed design to it that would keep catching and jamming in the fabric. That's your answer? That's a really good answer. Let me see if it's correct, though. Let me check with your teacher.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Good job, Dr. Singer. That's a tricky one, too. And your teacher's actually smiling, so I think she's pretty happy with your performance so far. Well, unless I lost count, I think we only have one more question left for Dr. Singer. What is your final question for him?
What year was he born, and when did he die?
Okay, and we're still talking about the man that has the real pretty name.
Yes, when did Barthélemy Timonier was born, and when did he die?
Okay, so now we're talking about, again, this great French inventor that is known throughout all France for really beginning to make the French sewing machine industry possible, and was a great inventor in making this machine. So, Dr. Singer, when was he born, and when did he die? Do you know the answer to that? He's kind of stumped on this one. He thinks that this gentleman, when he died, he had read in that same French journal that was transcribed into English. He thinks that he died when he was around 64 years of age, 64 years old, but he doesn't know the dates. So let me bring the camera up and you can let Dr. Singer know how he did on the final question.
Yeah, that's right. He was 64 years old. He was born in 1793 and died in 1856.
Um, the last, now the answer, I may have written it down wrong, but for that last one, I think did he die in 1856 or 1857?
Oh, I was told it was 1856.
Okay. Any of you that are watching the premiere right now, do some fact checking for Olga and I on the date that he died. For some reason, I thought it was a year later, but I may be mistaken. I thought it may have been 1857 that he died. But whatever it is, he made a huge impact on the sewing machine industry in France. He made it viable. He made it a possibility. So, Dr. Singer, all in all, I think you did really well. How many questions did Dr. Singer get incorrect, Olga?
I think it's 3 incorrect.
Let me double check because I kind of wrote them down as we were asking these to him. Let's see. Yes, he got question 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He got question number 6 incorrect. He got question number 7 incorrect. He got question number 8 incorrect. And he got the final question about, he knew that he died around 64, but he didn't know the years. So he actually got 4 wrong, and there were a total of, I believe, 10 questions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So he got 6 correct and 4 wrong. That's not too bad, I don't think. That's pretty good, huh?
We will have to count again if we are wrong ourselves and are learning about the living of Barthélemy Timonier. If we are wrong, we're right.
Yeah. Well,
Goes always to the student.
yeah, absolutely. So if any of you want to do some quick research on this French inventor that is the most famous in France as far as revolutionizing and growing the beginnings of the sewing machine industry in France, did he die in 1856 or 1857? Type it in the chat. And if you're the first one to type the answer, and I'll ask others to fact check that as well. Is that the correct answer? Then we can put that question to rest. But overall, a very good job, Dr. Singer. Those were tough questions that Olga asked you. They were not easy. Some of them I didn't know. We would have to come together if these questions came to us from someone sending us a note through Messenger. We would have to come together as a leadership team on some of these and research them together. Because again, no one person has to know all the answers. They can't know all the answers. And so, 4 incorrect out of 10, that's still very good. That's still very good. So I don't think, it's up to Olga, but I don't think you have to go to summer school. So, well, tell us a little bit, Olga. I'm going to actually what I'll do is I'll kind of change the shot so we're not focused on Dr. Singer anymore. And tell us a little bit about your cat Pistachio, if you don't mind.
Oh, she is a female. She is 13. So she's very sweet. She's black and white. She has a little dot in here, and she's the sweetest little cat I ever knew.
Well, and that evening that we were talking for those 2 hours plus, she actually came into the shot where I could see her, and then I started trying to be a cat to her, and I was going meow, meow, and I could hear her meowing back. It was pretty cool. She probably thought I was a very strange cat, but at the same time, that was neat to see her. She's beautiful. And then we shared Any of you that do YouTube but you don't do Facebook, then you miss the opportunity of seeing a beautiful picture of pistachio. Olga was kind and generous enough to give me a picture of pistachio to post on Facebook, and she is absolutely gorgeous. So, yeah. What about, you mentioned that as you were learning to drive, you also got an endorsement to drive motorcycles as well. And anyone on Facebook has seen a picture of your Yamaha 750. Talk a little bit about riding motorcycles in France. What is that like?
Oh, it's great. We have good roads to ride, and at the moment we have the laws for us to drive wherever we want, but not in the forest. That's really, really good to drive in France. So if you have a tour to come to France with a motorcycle. We also have the hotels and the great cuisine, and you can make the Tour de France with a motorcycle. That's one of the things I want to do.
Really? You're going to do the Tour de France on a motorcycle?
I would love it.
How long of a drive in kilometers is that, the Tour de France?
Uh,
Is it quite long?
it depends where you want to go.
Okay.
It depends. Or you can make 3,000 kilometers.
That's a real, that, you would have to stop to refuel your motorcycle several times for that long of a, if you, I mean, if you drove it that far.
My motorcycle has only 13 liters of fuel. I can go away far than 125 kilometers away without refueling.
Well, and it has a huge motor too. The seven, you and I had talked about that evening that we were chatting. 750 is not a small motorcycle. That's a big engine, and that sucks up a lot of fuel when you're driving it.
It starts to be, yes, and it's an old lady. She's 13 years old. She's 30 years old.
Really? I wouldn't have guessed that. From the picture you shared, it looks like it's almost brand new.
1991.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Well, I have to ask you, and this is a loaded question asking a driving instructor, but how fast have you driven your motorcycle?
130 kilometers, not more.
Okay.
Never more.
Anyone that is watching this right now and is able to join in the live chat, I want you to convert 130 kilometers per hour and convert it into miles per hour. And if you're the first one to type it into the chat, you get an A for the class today. You might even get a special pat on the back from Olga telling you that you're a good student. And Dr. Singer might even send you a little letter saying, great job for stepping out of the shadows. But I'd just be curious. So 130 kilometers per hour is the fastest you've gone on your motorcycle then? And that's pretty fast.
Yes, but I can go faster because in here we have a license with 12 points. When you are an old driver, more than 3 years of driving, and if I lose my points, I don't have my license, and don't have my license nor for the car, nor for the motorcycle, so I lose my job. I can't lose my job of teaching, so I have to have my license. Without license, you can go teaching how to drive.
No, absolutely. That's you have to obey the law, because if you get pulled over by the French police, they don't care if you're a driving instructor or not. They're still going to give you the points against your license, and then maybe a ticket too. When you speed in France, you get a ticket and you get points, both usually, depending on how fast.
Yes, both.
Yeah, same thing in the States. I know a lot of young people, some young people will get their license when they're 16, and they lose their license by the time they're 17 because they don't obey the laws. They speed, they drive recklessly, they do other things like that. So, but what would you say, the story you described about this young man that lost his family, that's one of the very rewarding things about doing the job that you do as a driving instructor. Someday you're going to retire. Someday you're going to retire and no longer be doing that work. What will you miss most about being a driving instructor after having done it, by then, who knows, maybe by then you will have been doing it for 30 years. So far now 25, but what will you miss the most about your job?
I probably would not be ending my career like that. Even if I'm not a teacher professionally as a job, I will go to an association for free to help somebody who can not afford to pay for teaching lessons, and so help and try to give back at that moment, even if I'm an old lady.
Now, you raised an interesting question there, because in the States, if someone wants to go to a professional driving school to get ready to take the exam, they have to pay here as well, and it varies in price depending on where you are in the country, what state you're in, and that. But the average price, I would say, is somewhere between 300 American dollars to 500 American dollars. In France, is that a comparable price, or is it quite a bit more expensive in France to take instruction from a professional like you?
In France, you have to take lessons, 20 lessons minimum, and you pay, how can I say that, as you want. If you want to be in some school, you pay more. If you want to be in other school, you pay less. If you are in a certain in a state, here you say département, or a certain location can be more expensive in Paris or less expensive out of Paris or in province. That's the other regions. I don't know how to call it. Other states.
No, I think you're right. Yeah, other regions in France, the price will vary as well.
It's various.
Yeah.
Each school can have its prices. You decide the price you wanna make.
Okay. Like, if you want very detailed instruction, then you pay more. If you want less detailed instruction, then you pay less.
No, just the price is different for just an hour. Can be from 35, 40 euros to 60 euros.
Okay. And you said they have to take. You said they have to take 20 hours of instruction? Minimum. So they can take more than that, but they have to take a minimum of 20. So if, let's say that they are taking instruction from a school where the price is much higher, 60 euros per hour.
Yeah.
So whoever wants to type into the chat, you can do the math. Assume that they take the minimum number of hours. They take 20 hours of instruction from this particular driving school. It may not be Olga's driving school. It might be a different one. But let's say that they take 20 hours of instruction and they're paying 60 euros per hour. How much of an investment are they making to get through those 20 hours of instruction? Type it in the chat. If you're the first one to type it, then Olga will probably type in the chat as well. Well done, because she's going to be the teacher for this premiere. She's our teacher. So she might give you a praise. She might give you an A for the class. I don't know. But you do the math. 20 hours of instruction minimum, 60 euros per hour. How much is that student going to spend? So you be the first one to do it, and then Olga will recognize that, and she will tell you what what you get from that. You get an A, you get extra credit, you get praise, you get whatever it is. So fantastic. Okay, what what is it like to? And I had shared this with you when we talked before. I spent probably about almost 2 days in France when I was living in Germany, and it's obviously changed a lot since I was there. But what do you love most about France? What do you love most about being so close? And I mean, you can touch Paris anytime you want to touch it. And what do you enjoy doing? What do you love about it? What do you enjoy doing because you're so close to the Paris, France area?
Oh, it's to whenever I want to go to Paris, I just have to cross some kilometers, and I'm in a beautiful city, a romantic city that Americans seem to love so much. And as I don't go to Paris every day, I want to look at Paris with the same eyes as foreigners, Americans, Germans, Sweden, all those persons. But it's very difficult. But it's a very, very beautiful city. Very beautiful.
Do you go shopping in the city sometimes?
Yes, yes. But
She
I
says,
have to say, I go shopping for sewing.
"Oh,
For sewing, yes, to because in Montmartre you have the sewing quarter where you can find the finest clothes to sew by yourself. The patterns, just at the foot of Montmartre, you can find the rarest clothes to sew.
oh my!" And
Yeah.
you can also buy. Can you buy supplies there for sewing as well?
Yeah,
Threads and
not sewing machines, but every supply you need, you can find there.
you get the patterns. You can buy needles there, I assume. You can buy thread. You can buy fabric for all of your
Fabric,
projects.
so much fabric. Yes, that's the fabric essentially, but you have all the needed ones, and that's why I want to go to Montmartre. And I go there to the Sacré-Cœur just after that. It's good to enjoy the magnificent view you have from the Sacré-Cœur.
Oh my goodness! But that's the way it is, isn't it? So many people from around the world, like you just suggested, will come to Paris, France, and it's a beautiful city. It's inviting. Even when I was there, I got lost. I think I told you I got lost. I was driving. What was that real busy? The oh, what is it called? The area that has the traffic circle that has 5 lanes. You told me what it was called.
Oh,
Something Le
it's
Triomphe.
around. It's a roundabout around l'Arc de Triomphe.
Yeah,
It's
the
called
Triomphe.
L'Étoile.
Yeah, the Triomphe.
Yes,
Well, I told you
and the roundabout is called L'Étoile.
when I entered that roundabout, I told you it was like going into war. It was terrifying because, we in the States, if we have a traffic circle that has 2 lanes, it's crazy. It's insane. And traffic circles to a lot of parts of the United States now are still very new. And some of the drivers that have been driving all their lives, when they come up to a traffic circle, you can see they don't know what to do. They have no idea what to do. Do I yield to them? Do they yield to me? How do I get into the flow of traffic? How do I get to the exit that I want? Which lane am I supposed to be in? If I'm in the correct, am I in the correct lane, or am I going to crash into somebody? And when I entered the Triomphe traffic circle, 5 lane, I think it's 5 lanes, right?
That's it.
It was like, ah! Literally. And then when I told Olga about this, I said, "Yeah, I entered it. I didn't." She very calmly, very very calmly, she describes to me what you need to do. You come in this way, you come out that way. She just says it with no excitement, like it's not a big deal. And I was like, ah. So yeah, if anyone is tell folks if you're going to enter one of those roundabouts like that real big one near the Triumph. How do you properly enter it? What is the procedure?
You go all the way to the left, and when you know you have to go out of the roundabout of the circle, you just look to the right side. That's the only way to go out, because the priority is to the right car. So you let the right car pass, you go. You let the other one on the right pass, and you go, and you go, and you go, and you go out.
I love the way she says that. And you go, and you go, and you go, and you go. And the rest of us are going, ah! So
If you're looking right and left, you can't go. You can go out.
oh, that's so funny. That's so funny. But that's, it's like New Yorkers, though. People from all around the world come to visit New York. People from all around the world come to visit Los Angeles, Hollywood. And the people that live there, it's common to them. It's familiar. It's nothing extraordinary. And I think it's so refreshing for you to say, it's very difficult for me because as I oftentimes say, you live a hiccup away from Paris, France. I mean, you can touch it in a matter of moments. But you don't want to see it as most people that live there see it. You don't want to see it as common. You want to see it as rare and precious and beautiful, like people that come from outside of that area look at it. I think that's the way it should be, because it's a very special place that you're living in. And all of us, when we live in special places, we can take it for granted. We can take it as common.
Yeah. I was living in Paris, in the 15e arrondissement for many years. And after I decided to go out because it became very, very expensive. So when I was living in Paris, what I was doing every day was in my bike, going near the Seine every night after work, and do all the travel that could be done by strangers coming to Paris to look at the Louvre, at the Assemblée Nationale, at the Jardin des Tuileries, all those places that we look at tourists, and tourists are looking at all those magnificent sites, and I wanted to know how they look to those sites. So I was just a tourist every night.
And you actually took the tours and you kind of visualized yourself as an outsider, even though you're obviously not.
That's right.
Yeah. Was it a different experience to try to look at it that way, or is it still very difficult because you're so familiar? That's an area that you're so intimately aware of.
It was a gymnastic of the mind to do that, but I kept it very well for some times. And after some years, it was very difficult to saw the beauty when you had such a difference between the quartier of the Louvre, which is very touristic, and some other places that are less touristic and less beautiful, but have many, many qualities as well.
That's wonderful, wonderful. Well, Olga, it is so wonderful. I'm going to come out in this shot a little bit. It's so great. I'll put you over by Dr. Singer. I'll put you over by your pupil. And but it's such a pleasure to have you on the team. I love the fact that you have so quickly jumped into the VSM space, acquiring the 12 machines in 1 year. Some of those machines you've already begun the process of trying to figure them out, service them, and get them operational, which that type of initiative, as you told me, once you start to get into something, it's like, look out. That type of confidence, that type of initiative is exactly the kind of leader that I was hoping and praying I would find. So it's a unique bonus. It's a unique bonus that you happen to be from such a beautiful part of the world. But I just think that people are going to enjoy so much learning with you and also learning from you. It's that give and take. It's, sometimes you'll be teaching, sometimes you'll be learning, sometimes I'm teaching, sometimes I'm learning. And that makes our leadership team such a wonderful resource to people all over the place. You may not know this, but the first question that Paula had to help answer was actually for a person from South Africa. And she was somewhat nervous about it. It's like, I don't know if I can do this. But she jumped into it and very quickly acquired the attitude of, like you, look out. And so she's done even in the brief amount of time, you and she are almost starting at the same time. She started just a little bit before you, but just a little bit. So you and Paula will be able to learn together, share together, and then as you start to eventually, and I'm not being too anxious here, but eventually when you feel like, yeah, I would like to post some articles, I would like to, share some things on the page, and eventually down the road, whenever you're comfortable, whenever Paula is comfortable, you'll become editors, and then you'll be able to post things that are very interesting and very unique, and maybe some things that are specific to France that relate somehow to sewing or to crafts or to that area. And then people will get a totally different perspective because of where you're at, just as they would from, Paula down in Florida or Sunny over in Pennsylvania or Bill, as well. I mean, depending on experience and depending on location, that can also really influence, what those things are that you're able to bring to give people a greater appreciation for VSM. So I think that's super cool as well. So are you excited, or you're excited and cautious at the same time, huh?
Both.
Well, what do they say? Being a little bit on edge about something as you're learning and as you're stepping into the space is totally normal. It's totally natural, and it probably shows a little bit of wisdom too. The same wisdom that you were able to give to Dr. Singer today, who is never accustomed to being in the seat of a student. He's always accustomed to being in the seat of a teacher, and you gave him a taste of that today. And I think it'll make him a better teacher because of that. Just like you said, you weren't the greatest student, but because you had to do things in a different way and you had to go through those bumps and all of that, it's made you even a better teacher now. Hopefully Dr. Singer will benefit from the test you gave him today and becoming a better teacher than he even was beforehand. So,
You will.
yeah. Well, thank you again. I'll let you, it's much later for you. I think it's probably getting late into the evening your time now. So I will let you get back to I'll let you get back to your evening. And thank you so much for joining the team. Thank you so much for all of the things that you shared today. And thank you for stepping in the role of a teacher and giving that great test to Dr. Singer as well.
Thank you for having me on the team.
Yeah.
It would be a pleasure.
Yeah, you're going to have a lot of fun. That's the main thing, is have fun. Have fun, have fun, have fun. All right.
Let's do this.
Yeah. I'll say au revoir.
Au revoir, mon ami.
Yeah. Bye. Oh, is she a pleasure or what? Olga is such a treat to have on the team. She truly is. And I know all of you are going to love, as you get to know her better. I'm going to change our shot a little bit here. You're going to love getting to know her better, and it may be through premieres like this where you have a chance to interact with her. It may be through a question that you end up submitting through the Cow Country Messenger platform. And as a result of that, you have a chance to interact with Olga that way and get to know her that way as well. But every person on, I'm going to unplug another light so we can see the screen a little bit better. Every person on the leadership team brings their own unique talents, their own unique experiences. And I know you're going to love getting to know Olga better and learning more about her experiences as well as it relates to not just sewing, but life experiences. The life experiences that every person brings are going to give them insights in the areas that no one else would be able to bring. And this, obviously, we're looking at a picture here of Olga that she shared. She shared a couple different ones with me, but I like this one the most because it just shows that that confidence. It shows that playfulness that really defines who she is as a person and how she approaches every challenge. Every challenge, whether it's learning how to become a moderator and developing those skills, or becoming a driving instructor and having many of her peers question, could she be successful? Could she do this job? And like she said, a lot of them are gone now, and she's still going strong. She's still, influencing and impacting lives there, like that young man that she talked about that lost his entire family in a horrible crash. And she was able to nurture and show him kindness and give him the opportunity to succeed. So that's the kind of person I want on my team. That kind of person that doesn't need to know it all, but feels as if they have special gifts and talents that can make a difference in them being successful. Oh, I love it. Olga is sending me a quick message. You got to see this. This is awesome. She's sending me a quick message. She knows that in the army, when a person is trying to say that they're confident, and as I said to her in the army, when we would say that first word on top there, which you pronounce it as hua. And when you're in the army, and I'm going to turn away from the camera so I don't blast your eardrums, but when you say it in the army, you say it with authority and confidence. So if you're going on a mission and you're getting ready to enter into that mission, you're getting ready to step into a combat zone where your life could be at stake. When you say hua, you say it like this. And I'm going to turn away from the camera again so I don't blow your eardrums out. But you say it like this. Hua! Like that, with a lot of authority. And then if the instructor says that to you, like as Olga just did here, she said hua, you answer back with a lot of authority as well. Hua! With a lot of authority. So here, right after this chat with her, she's sending me a note saying hua, which says victory. And I totally agree. That interview with Olga just now was victory. And she said she did it, which she did. Fabulous job. And she says, now I'm nervous until the premiere goes live, because this is pre-recorded right now. And now you're seeing it live for the first time. So, Olga, don't be nervous. Don't be nervous. You did a fabulous job, as everyone I think would agree by typing it in the chat and saying fantastic job. And I'm going to close that just now so we can see Olga. And we can see my little metal Eiffel Tower there. But also I'm going to click through another picture. For those of you that are not on Facebook, you've seen Olga now, but you didn't see her cat, Pistachio. So let me see if I can click that one up now. That is Pistachio, a beautiful girl and a wonderful companion to Olga. And as you could hear in Olga's voice, she just loves Pistachio more than any cat she's probably ever had. Such a sweet, sweet cat. And then Olga was talking about driving her motorcycle 130 kilometers per hour in France. And this is her motorcycle, which if you didn't see that on Facebook because you don't do the Facebook thing, then you're getting a special treat by seeing Olga's motorcycle. which is again, it's a Yamaha 750. And I told Olga when I was first becoming a driver when I was 15 years old, I wanted so badly to get a motorcycle license endorsement, and I eventually did. That was up to 750 cc's for the size of the motor on the machine, but I never bought one that big. Mine was much, much, much smaller. I would ride on the back of this motorcycle if Olga let me do it and let her drive, but I would never try driving a motorcycle this big. There's no way. There's no way I would do that. So, what a pleasure to meet Olga, to meet Pistachio, and to welcome her to the leadership team on the Facebook business page. I would strongly encourage you to reach out to her, to congratulate her on assuming this role. Again, when anyone steps out of the shadows and accepts a role like this, I see them as a hero. I see them as a courageous individual. And also Dr. Singer showed some confidence and some courage today by being willing to be a student, just as Paula was the last time, and take that exam that Olga prepared for him. Again, he missed 4 out of 10, but it happens. And now he knows the answers to those questions. So if someone else has, the need to know those answers, Dr. Singer now, having been a student during this brief period of time in the premiere, can now take those answers and share them with others. That's the whole idea of learning, isn't it? It's not keeping answers to ourselves, but it's sharing answers. And it's learning answers together, which is what this leadership team does when questions come in through Messenger. We none of us have all the answers. Seriously. So it's fun to learn together, and then it's fun to share those answers. So welcome again, Olga, to the team. Welcome, in being a vital part of who we become. Not who we are now, but as you begin to influence the team and you begin to step into that role with even more confidence, and you share your unique talents and gifts and your insights, we're going to become better because of that. So I'm extremely excited to have you on board, and extremely excited for you to, like Paula, both of you are starting about the same time, for you to be able to step into those roles together and share and answer questions together as well. Sometimes collaborate, do research, and find answers for people around the world. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Great to have you here. And I forgot to ring the bell at the beginning and at the end, so I'm going to ring it twice now. For the beginning of the class, and now for the end of the class. I almost had 3 classes there. We almost started it again with me bumping it. So tune in for other premieres like this, where I have the privilege and honor of interviewing extraordinary people like our friend Olga, a new moderator on the Facebook business page. Welcome, Olga, and it's so great to have you on the team. All right, y'all take care, and God bless.